Hey, True Believers, Englentine here. It is August. That makes it Kirby month. August 28th is Jack the King Kirby's birthday. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be looking at either a book that he has worked on, or there are these Jack Kirby tribute issues that DC put out a little bit ago where it would have been his 100th birthday. We might take a look at those, but every Sunday we're going to be talking about something Jack Kirby. And you know what? It's my channel. If I get the idea to do something in the middle of the week, why not? Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at the Black Panther issue number 1. So kick back, relax, and enjoy. And as always, I kind of like starting off with a cover here. I'm not going to be reading through this. I'll be going page by page, but all right, first of all, love the color on it. He's back, because only Jack Kirby could do it. They searched for it, they fought for it, and even killed for it. What was it? King Solomon's frog. Oh, goodness. Something tells me that Jack Kirby didn't run this by anybody before he put out Frog. Now, granted, I love the way it looks on the cover. It really does. Jack Kirby's amazing. But it's a frog. I have a feeling like what does King Solomon slept with this little stuffed frog or something, and then all of a sudden, oh, okay, I don't understand it. Let's move on. And we see Black Panther on the splash page coming in and looking at this guy saying, I was right, that's Squealy in the chair. He's got the brass frog. And Black Panther says, your friend doesn't seem alarmed by our visit. In fact, he's not moving at all. And by the way, if you're wondering why I blame Kirby for all of the bad on this book, it's because it says right there, written, edited, and drawn by Jack Kirby. Alrighty, this page right here tells you why Jack's the king, man. Look at this. It is just the colors on it, the design. We see Black Panther examining the body, and he says, he's dead. There's a wound in his chest as if he'd been run through by a sword. And the little dude in the bowler is taking the frog. Now, there's been no backstory yet, like what happened to the guy. Obviously, this dude's holding a sword here, so we assume he's the one that killed him. But who's the dude in the bowler hat? Like, okay, if you're a fan of Black Panther, this may have been explained to you, but in this book, yeah, we need to talk there, guys. Let's get what happened to the guy? Why was he run through? What's the importance of the frog? I'm sure we'll find out. But right now, we're not given a lot of information to go on. And then that little dude, we have no idea who he is, says that the frog itself was the cause of the man's death. And Black Panther's like, I'm pretty sure it was the sword that was put through his chest. And the guy's like, well, you know, it was the frog. He must have been experimenting with it. And that's when the guy with the sword attacks Black Panther. And he's like, yeah, well, the old dude with the frog may have fell easily to your blade, but you'll find Black Panther a most uncooperative target. The little guy watches as Black Panther fights the man with the sword here, and he's like, hey, I'm pretty fortunate to have you at my side in this moment of stress. And Black Panther says, thanks a lot. If I don't put this killer out of action now, we both may yet die. Oh, belting that armored hide is like punching out a brick wall. And as the swordsman gets up, I can't let him use that sword again. Got to cancel him now. So who would have thought that Black Panther was a part of cancel culture? Seriously, disappointed. And before Black Panther could reach the swordman, he jumps through the window. Black Panther, instead of chasing him, stops at the window, and the guy's like, let him go. He's like, yeah, you're right. He's got a sword and armor. Cops are sure to notice him. No, Black Panther, no. Don't use your strength and speed to stop the bad guy who killed a dude. That would be super heroic. And we find out that Black Panther's grandfather actually owned the frog, but he never used it. Wait, what? How to use a frog? Well, it turns out this particular frog is a time machine. Black Panther's companion, who we learned his name is Mr. Little, not a lot of stretching going on there, has told him that they need to return it to King Solomon's resting ground, and Black Panther's like, wait a second, that's just a myth, and people have died looking for those kind of things. And Mr. Little's like, no, this dude was real, he lived a lush life, and we're going to return the frog. And that's when another ship comes upon them and tries to, as they say, scoop him up. The ship opens a mouth on the front of it, and this is a great design. I love this. Man, Kirby, dude, he's got some great designs. And Black Panther says, if we don't put some mileage between us and that tin shark, you could postpone your trip to King Solomon's tomb. How about it, Mr. Little? Never fear, Panther. In my dealings with competitors, I've learned to prepare for any contingency. And then he just shoots a couple of missiles at the bad guys. So I guess, yeah, it's pretty cool so far. I've got to say that I'm a little, I don't know, he's a king. But I'm a little bit shocked at the whole, okay, we're just blowing people up. Like, why were they chasing? See, as us readers, we only know this guy to be the good guy because, or Mr. Little I'm talking about, because he's with Black Panther. But what is his motivations other than he's saying, well, I want to get the frog, I want to return it, and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, we're not being given a lot of information so far on this particular book. And so Black Panther goes on. He's a little bit amazed at how seriously these collectors are when it comes to certain stuff. And Mr. Little reminds him that all I want to do is put it back. And so he decides to talk about a little bit of the frog's history and how even the first person who toyed with it ended up getting killed by some sort of creature he brought from another time. And Little even kind of ties it into real-world myths by saying, the myths that rose from the ensuing massacre lasted for ages, but today the story of Ali Baba and the genie is deemed fit only for children. And we see people yelling and running from a monster that's just crumbling buildings. Really classic Kirby 1960s kind of stuff that's brought into the 70s here. The past is littered with descriptions of grotesque beings who did not belong in the existing scheme of things. Alfred Quealy was not the first to experiment with this brass frog in this century. The prehistoric things in Loch Ness is ample testimony to man with a time machine. There it is. It's the monster we see as people are taking pictures of Loch Ness. It's a fantastic premise, Mr. Little, says Black Panther, and very hard to digest. I've yet to see this brass frog operate. Restrain your impulses, or we'll both wind up like Quealy. I'm on Black Panther's side on this one. I would love to see this thing in work. Like, if I were holding it, I would definitely want to bring up one of these big-ass monsters just to see for myself. But then again, I guess I'm the kind of guy that would mess around with some sort of technology only to wind up like gum on the shoe of some big giant yeti. But then shots ring out, and we see that there's a jetpack squad, and Black Panther's like, oh my gosh, can you do anything to help us, Mr. Little? And Mr. Little's like, dude, supersonic speed. From here, I think it's important to comment that Gail just got home, my wife, and the bird is going crazy because he saw her. She came in for a little bit and then left, and now he's trying to get attention. So from here on in, I do apologize. You can hear a little bit more of Mr. Twiddles here. So they do manage to escape, and after a bit, Black Panther's like, whoa, you can slow it down now, Mr. Little. We've definitely lost him. Very well, my landing pad is not far from this area. And as they descend, Black Panther asks, we're descending? You can't mean that you're landing inside this. Why, it's nothing but a large pit. A pit curved by nature, lad, is the best kind of cover. And then Mr. Little is shot as they get off the helicopter. Oh, Mr. Little, we never knew ye. Seriously, who the hell were you? You were in... There's no explanation as to who this guy was. Why is he with Black Panther? I don't know. Maybe you had to read issues of Jungle Action. That might have been a thing, but here, nada, zip, nothing. As the grim targets swarm about him, the Black Panther's mighty fists snake out and drop them in their tracks. Stand aside, you fumbling clowns. Must I continually do your work for you? We hear from a voice off panel. A woman's voice, a strong but slender finger tightens upon a trigger. Droning waves of force rush to make contact. They strike and bring down the Black Panther. And we finally see the person who knocked Black Panther out. And what is up with the headdresses? I've got to say, you know, Kirby loved his headdresses, whether they're hats, helmets, or whatever. This one is just kind of weird to me. I don't know. This, a day of triumph. Princess Xanda, you've conquered your enemies and won the coveted prize. The brass frog is yours. And she's like, guys, you screwed up, and you're lucky I didn't turn my blaster on you. And some dude's like, hey, we killed the little guy. Should we kill the hero of the book in the first issue? And of course, we hear, no, you fool. The princess has need of him for her plans. Yeah, this is kind of the problem with ongoing series. It's issue 1 of the hero's book. I'm not feeling that they're going to out and right kill him. I mean, maybe if it was like, okay, it's called Black Panther, but second issue it's going to be called Mr. Little, and they discovered that he was alive, maybe, but there you go. So the Black Panther begins to come to, and Princess Xanda's like, hey, stop resisting. You should join me the way you joined Mr. Little. And he's like, whoa, you're a cold-blooded killer. Dude, Little just wanted the control codes same as I do, so we don't, like, conjure up some strange genie that's going to kill me. What's the difference? Because when he found those control codes, he was going to kill you too. Not a great salesman, this Princess Xanda. Black Panther's like, no way, dude, and he kicks the princess out of the way, grabs onto the frog, and as he's trying to make it his escape, one of Princess Xanda's guards shoots the frog out of his hands, and that seems to conjure something up from the time-traveling frog. I do not believe I am saying the word frog this many times, and I never thought the words time-traveling frog would ever escape my lips. When the blinding light fades, the time threshold is closed, but the bizarre being who has stepped across the centuries now stands solid and alone, facing creatures as strange to him as he is to them. What are you? The creature says. Speak or die. And we see the Black Panther looking at him. By the great lion, the brass frog has hit the jackpot this time. If you think our past has been stormy, wait till you see what comes from the future. Don't miss the next issue, The 6 Million Year Man. Alrighty, there you go, guys. Black Panther #1. What'd you think? Personally, I think that for a writer, Jack Kirby's an incredible artist. Yeah, the writing's a little bit weak. It's not a great story. It's kind of a little bit on the bland side, but dude, it looks gorgeous. That one panel I pointed out where you got the guy with the sword off to the side and he's looking in on Black Panther and Mr. Little. That's beautiful. I love the designs, the ship, the frog, the whole 9 yards. The man knows how to tell a story with art, and that's why he's the king. Seriously, that's why he is Jack the King Kirby. Incredible. But the story itself, once again, while I don't think it was amazing, it was still kind of fun, and I do like 1970s stories. This is just pure entertainment, no politics, nothing along those lines, and yeah, you got to dig it for that at least. Anyway, that's my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to click on whatever video is showing up right here. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, we've got a Ko-Fi and a members only over at I Love Comics. So check that out. Please help out the channel. And thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.